Hello students, we studied early humans were hunter-gatherers. Then they engaged in agriculture activities, so they settled near the valleys of river. First two cities were Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. But what happened then? Let's see the flashback.
India is located in the southwestern part of the Asian continent.
They inhabited till about 3,500 years ago. Over time, however, they got buried under the ground and were lost and forgotten.
To have worked in the market or tilled the farmland. And women were also kept busy doing household chores. The people of Harappa probably enjoyed a prosperous life.
Most of the early cities were found in the valley of the Indus River.
Possible by the mighty Indus River. The Indus River Basin was home to the Indus Valley Civilization. The river source originates from the Tibetan Himalayas and extends for 2,900 kilometers to flow into the Arabian Sea. The annual flow of the river is twice the amount of the Nile River, and it is a critical lifeline to millions of Indians today. Fish is plentiful in the river, providing a livelihood for fishermen. But the river brings many more benefits than just abundant fish. The silt deposited by the Indus creates a rich and fertile soil. This boosts the yields of the farmland. Even though Pakistan's Punjab province has a semi-arid climate, it is the country's largest agricultural output thanks to the Indus River. Without the Indus River, the farmers would be unable to grow watermelons, cucumbers, and squash that require large amounts of water. In ancient times, there were no elaborate road networks, so the river was the best way to transport cargo. Since the river was shallow, the people of the Indus Valley built flat-bottom boats, which they used to ferry goods for hundreds of kilometers. Buyers and sellers would converge around places where boats would dock. This is how towns and cities sprouted along the river.
So it has always been the case that the ancient civilizations emerged and flourished on along the side of the river. Moreover, it was so important for them to keep in touch with other people at that time. So the transportation and source of communication has been perhaps only the rivers. That is why most of the civilizations flourish on the banks of the river.
Let us see the area 4,500 years ago, or 2500 BCE. Two major rivers existed in the northwestern region of the Indian subcontinent, the Indus River and the Ghaggar River. Harappa is in the upper area of the river, while the Mohenjo-daro is further down in the middle section. And Dholavira is located at the mouth of the Ghaggar River. These large cities were surrounded by about 2,000 towns and villages. Located 600 kilometers south of Harappa, Mohenjo-daro is the largest settlement of the Indus Valley civilization. Just the excavated area of the ruins is 2.5 square kilometers, and the central road in the city center had a width of 11 meters, which is enough for carts to pass through. Maze-like alleys course through 10-meter-high mud walls. Experts estimate that the city had a population of 200,000 people. Excavation work on Mohenjo-daro began in 1922. Indian archaeologists and an army of 1,200 workers dug up this buried ancient city.
The streets are very straight, cutting at 90 degrees. Small lanes bisecting them, making them rectangular blocks. Like you have Islamabad, beautifully organized city. So it gives you, makes you easy uh, to go through and convenience for the life. That's why people give such an importance to the planning.
After Mohenjo-daro was revealed, two city sections were noticed. One section encompassed the temple and public bath. The other section was the residential area that lied just 150 meters away. So what kind of city environment did the inhabitants live in? The alleys were patterned like a go board and evenly spaced. The front doors of the dwellings led right into the alleys. Once inside, there was a large living room and a courtyard, in which families did their cooking or made handicrafts. The dwelling's well stood out. More than 700 small wells like this have been found in Mohenjo-daro. Wastewater from the courtyard would tumble down this open drain and then flow into the drainage canal, which would expel the water out of the city. The citadel section was built on higher ground that was 18 meters taller than the residential area. The public bathhouse and temple were prominent structures. Scores of people could bathe here at the same time. Tar was coated on the pool's bottom to make it waterproof. This area has distinct wet and dry seasons. That would have compelled the people to worship water. They believed that water was a gift from the gods. So after a person bathed, he or she would walk through the interior corridor, made of mud walls, to reach the temple with reverence. In order for a civilization to develop, there must be enough food production and a large population to consume it. Food storage, trade, and the transportation of goods must be active. The Indus River supports these activities, and it continues to do so to this day. These expansive green plains extend as far as the eye can see. Many villagers continue to live in the same traditions as the ancient inhabitants of the Mohenjo-daro. They still build dwellings with mud bricks or mortar. Little has changed in the way they make bricks. Using their hands, they take a piece of mud from the pile, sprinkle it with fine sand, stick it into a rectangular mold, and then take it out of the mold.
मिट्टी ये इधर जमीन की है मिट्टी ये जो है नीचे जमीन है नहीं इसकी मिट्टी है इसकी मिट्टी है इधर आती है जिससे ईंट बनती है
The bricks are spaced evenly to prevent them from sticking to one another. They are sun-dried and baked in outdoor ovens. Rice husks are burned to heat the bricks for 3 days at a relatively constant temperature of 800 degrees Celsius. When the baking process is finished, the bricks will make a tin-like noise, just like the ones in the Mohenjo-daro ruin.
हमारे तो उम्र नहीं है मगर हमारे बड़े जो है परदादा दादा वो भी काम यही करते थे.
People followed different occupations. There were farmers, weavers, potters, dwellers, metal workers, toy makers, stone cutters, seal makers, boat makers, masons, and traders. Pottery making had reached an advanced stage. Beautiful reddish glazed pottery with different designs has been discovered from almost
So
all
people
the
rely
sites.
on the Indus River for fish and silt for their farmland, bricks, and even jars.
The discovery of clay spindle suggests that yarn was spun. People wore clothes of cotton and wool. Needles and buttons have
National
also
Museum
been
in Delhi,
found, which suggests that
the
people
capital of
stitched
India,
clothes.
there are many Indus Valley artifacts on display. Many carnelian necklaces are found in the museum exhibits. Carnelian is a semi-precious stone found in India's Gujarat state. It is ground to give it a shiny luster. Women wore hip ornaments, necklaces, and bracelets made from carnelian.
A large number of seals have been found. Most of them are made of terracotta and are
These
square
seals
or
were quite
rectangular
novel
in shape.
discoveries,
They
as they
have
held
animal
important clues
figures
to the
and
Indus Valley
pictures like
civilization.
signs on them.
More than 4,000 seals made of mud or octal were found in the Indus Valley. Inscriptions or drawings of people and animals were commonly depicted on these Indus Valley seals. The unicorn was the most common theme on them. It could be deduced that the seals were printed on plates and other objects to denote ownership by the owner of the seal. And similar seals have also been found in the Mesopotamian civilization ruins in Iraq. Not only were similar animals depicted, but even the inscriptions and symbols were identical. What implications does this have?
There were two overland routes. There was one overseas route. Trade is clearly established on the basis of archaeological finds and Mesopotamian literary records between Mesopotamia and Harappan civilization, and also between Harappan civilization and some of the Iranian civilization. And on the basis of humped bull motif, carnelian beads, estetite vessels, which means that objects of Mesopotamian origin being found in Harappa and objects of Harappan origin being found in Mesopotamia clearly testify to the fact
Trade.
that there was trade.
The Harappans exported surplus goods and brought in goods that were in short supply, like copper, tin, gold, silver, and precious
1,500
metals.
years ago,
This is
it was
proved by
likely
the
that large
discovery
boats
of
sailed to the
Mesopotamian
Indus
seals
River to
in
the
many
Arabian Sea.
Harappan cities.
About 5 million people inhabited the banks of the Indus River, clustered in over 2,000 towns and villages. The crafts and goods they made were traded with other lands. Mesopotamia was the main trading place. Even though trade between the two civilizations was small, the land route linked the two. As trade volume grew, sea routes were established. Numerous trading cities sprung up along the route, and the Mohenjo-daro was the most prominent city. Mohenjo-daro was the Manhattan of its time. Goods were bountiful in the streets, and laborers toiled to carry them. But these ruins are all that remain of this once flourishing ancient civilization. The city suddenly vanished around 1800 BCE. No weapons were found in the ruins, making it unlikely that a war brought upon its collapse. There are no signs of destruction or fire damage. Then what caused the city's downfall?
River Valley is the most is the best possible location for a civilization or for a city to exist. So when you find that a river has changed its course because of tectonic shifts, then obviously the city does not exist there. It ceases to exist. So tectonic movements, floods from the rivers, natural disasters, these are some of the causes which have been held responsible for the decline of the Harappan civilization.
But there is one ancient city that we have not highlighted yet. It is Dolavira, and it lies in the lower reaches of the Gangar River. Living as cattle herders. How did an ancient civilization flourish in such a land? Dolavira is the most recent discovery among Indus Valley civilization ruins. Approaching the ruins, there are buildings made from stone masonry. This is the North Gate, the largest among the 4 city gates. Unlike the brick buildings in Harappa and the Mohenjo-daro, here the buildings are made of stone and the dwellings have circular shapes. Its sewer system is elaborate, like Mohenjo-daro's. Like the system in Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, wastewater from dwellings are channeled through waterways and pipes that would dump it outside the city. There is one unique feature of Dolavira that is not found in other archaeological sites. The place is completely enclosed within stone walls that are 15 meters tall.
कितना पानी रखने के लिए कितना मेहनत किया हुआ है। मतलब उन लोगों ने जो सिटी बसाया तो बसने का कारण ये है कि यहाँ तो एक नमकीन पानी मिल रहा है, ग्राउंड वाटर, तो उन लोगों ने बारिश का पानी को संग्रह करके ये बड़े-बड़े टैंक बना दिए।
After extensive excavation, 17 reservoirs were discovered. Long ago, there was a river here, and people built a dam to create a reservoir. The reservoir water was transported to Dolavira Center through man-made canals. It would fill the ancillary reservoirs, starting from the east to the west. Water was plentiful in the desert city of Dolavira all year round as it became a city of water. But around 1800 BCE, the Gangar River suddenly dried up, and Dolavira could not escape the same fate.
Dholvira is famous for another thing, that is the oldest signboard in the world. A general decline is seen from city to city. There may have been natural disasters such as earthquake, flood, epidemics or change in the course of river Indus, and that ended life.